Your city, your news. From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by the University of Nebraska at Omaha School of Communications.
Many new plans are in the works for expansion in Omaha this upcoming year, but the developments may not be where you would expect.
And the soccer season might be over, but this hasn't stopped one man from ranking in the honors. We'll have those stories and much more next on the Omaha News. Hi, I'm Jessica Harris.
And I'm Ann McIntyre. Over the last few years, development in Omaha has steadily been growing. Plazas such as Village Point Shopping Center in northwest Omaha and the Quest Center downtown are just a few of the projects the city has completed. Kristen Geisinger reports on how a major makeover in downtown Omaha is causing concern among local business owners.
The Quest Center and the Holland Performing Arts Center have been drawing huge crowds to downtown Omaha. Crowds that may soon be shifting a little to the north. In the recent State of the City speech, Mayor Mike Fahey announced plans of new development for North Downtown Omaha. Of those include a North Downtown ballpark and a mass transit system. Gino Betty, manager of InPlay, is enthusiastic about all the NoDo changes.
I think that the plans for the North Downtown development is extremely exciting. You know, we're really glad to be a part of it, just being in such close proximity to all the exciting plans that are coming with the new ballpark, hopefully, and all the plans that are kind of on the drawing board.
InPlay was one of the first businesses to take a gamble at developing in a then vacant part of town.
I think that, yeah, when this was put on the drawing board, the plans were that North Downtown was going to be developed. And we knew that we were a couple of years early into it, but we thought, well, no time like the present.
The new NoDo projects may be exciting for some, but what about those that may be asked to relocate?
A lot of friends that'll call up and say,
John Pascarella is one of the owners of Happy Bar, a business that may be asked to move.
It's kind of a scary deal, you know. We've been here a long time, and it'd be hard to relocate after all these years we've been down here, you know. So we have a lot of clientele that have been coming for a long time, and it'd be tough to relocate since 1953.
Well, for now, the Happy Bar is safe, but that could all change in the near future. For the Omaha News, I'm Kristen Geisinger.
For more information on the developments downtown and to get a sneak peek of the plans, check out the Omaha by Design website at livelyomaha.org.
Debate has been raging within Omaha and surrounding suburbs over the last few months about the residency of sex offenders. Papillion South, Sioux City, and Wayne are among the cities that have adopted ordinances restricting sex offenders from living among neighborhood schools and daycares. Omaha, however, is still in the early stages of proposing sex offender restrictions, and one local parent is concerned whether the proposal will stop the offenders from attacking children.
It doesn't matter. They're going to drive. If they want a kid or they want to hurt someone, they're going to drive by a school. They're going to go to a daycare. They're going to be in the area where the school or daycare is. So to me, it really just doesn't matter. They can come up with as many laws as they want. If you want to kill somebody, you're going to go and find them. Doesn't matter where you live.
Councilman Gary Gurnant is proposing the legislation for sex offenders in Omaha. The state of Nebraska is proposing similar legislation. For more information on Nebraska's proposal, go to the Nebraska Legislature website at unicam.state.ne.us. You only have a couple weeks to catch the current exhibit at the Weber Fine Arts Gallery on the UNO campus. The exhibit is called Saving Faces. It's a series of 42 portraits by Mark Gilbert, who painted portraits of patients undergoing facial reconstruction to repair deformities caused by cancer, injury, or congenital defects. The paintings help to tell the story of the patients before, during, and after surgery. Tomorrow, the gallery will host a session with Dr. Michael Gillespie, who treated the patients and invited Gilbert to make the portraits. The session begins at 7 p.m. in the Weber Fine Arts Gallery. The exhibit runs through February 24th.
A recent study comparing the birth control patch to the pill has caused some controversy among physicians. Renee Harvey tells us about the dangers of using the patch.
This self-adhesive birth control has serious side effects, such as heart attacks, strokes, and blood clots. But whose responsibility is it to know the details?
When drug companies set themselves up to become responsible, people come out of the woodwork and they kind of just take advantage of the drug company, and that in turn makes the drugs for all of us more expensive. So I think consumers need to bear some responsibility.
The study was not a concern for Katie Steim, who used to be a user of the patch.
I don't care. It didn't really bother. I'm like, okay, well, everybody says there's bad things about birth control, every type of it, so I didn't really care. I mean, I think there's been a lot more controversy, which has definitely made me look into it more.
So, is the patch really that sticky of a situation?
We don't treat it any different now than we did before November when the new warning came out.
You sell cigarettes every single day, and people die from lung cancer and everything like that every single day. It's not, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a good thing, but I mean, everybody's body's different. Not everybody's going to die from it, and there's always, it's going to help some people.
Marcia Adler, director of the Student Health Services, says the patch increases certain risks for some women, but not all users of the patch.
I actually think my patients are at bigger risk if they choose to smoke, if they're overweight, if they're over 35. Those put those ladies at much greater risk for blood clots and those kind of problems than a healthy patient that uses the patch correctly.
Katie has no regrets about her use of the patch.
I had a very positive experience with it.
So maybe, through a little bit more education, women can become more informed. With the Omaha News, I'm Renee Harvey.
Several lawsuits have been filed from family members of women whose deaths are believed to have been caused from blood clots related to the birth control patch. For more information on Ortho Evra, check out their website at orthoevra.com. Later in the newscast, we'll have an interview with one professor helping the Omaha community celebrate Black History Month.
But coming up, what does a team of girls and a national championship have to do with one local man? Find out next on the Omaha News.
Journalist. I want to work in the recording industry. I want to be in advertising when I grow up.
I want to be a video engineer.
I want to be a news anchor.
I want to be a great communicator.
UNO Television, based on the University of Nebraska at Omaha campus, provides production and educational services both locally and nationally. UNO Television has been offering students hands-on broadcast opportunities for over 40 years. Every UNO Television production features students working side by side with broadcast professionals in a variety of settings. UNO Television is proud of its role in helping students develop their skills toward broadcasting careers.
Hi, I'm Carol Schrader. For years, I've brought you the news on issues from around the Omaha area. Now I examine those issues in more detail to discover the impact they have on all of us. So join me for the 9th season of Consider This, a program produced by UNO Television to give you more information than your typical newscast.
Watch Consider This with Carol Schrader each week on TKN, the Knowledge Network of Greater Omaha.
Coming off back-to-back national titles and returning 5 All-Americans to its roster, the UNO wrestling team looks to have another promising year. But as Garrett Geist reports, even with all the accolades, the Mavs aren't getting the recognition they deserve.
With football season swept away by winds that bite harder than an autumn breeze, it's only appropriate that winter and its silent fist give way to a sport fueled by modest warriors of the mat. But as the UNO wrestling team adds water to a flood of records, are their fellow students aware of the team's accomplishments?
Honestly, don't know much about the UNO wrestling team. I had a buddy that wrestled on it, but other than that, I couldn't tell you anything about it. It's not like the football team where you hear once in a while about them doing good in football and making the playoffs, or even the hockey team.
We sell clothing with wrestling on it.
I've seen a couple calendars with all of our wrestlers on it. They look like guys I wouldn't want to mess with. I mean, they seem like nice guys. They're all in their suits and stuff like that. I really know nothing about it, except we're a pretty strong team. We look like we've had a few good seasons. That's about all I know.
What about being national champs in 2004 and 2005?
I've never heard anything about it. I've probably seen the banner when I go to the Hyper building.
Yeah, I had no idea that they won championships.
Sounds somewhat familiar, but...
I mean, if they won like a national championship, I'd be like, wow, we got some pretty good guys in our hands. I mean, especially to balance academics and a true talent like that. I mean, my hat's off to them, absolutely.
They should receive some recognition. I mean, that's a fantastic accomplishment. Nebraska's more of a football state where everything's based on football.
So as most Nebraskans wish their Huskers to win the football national championship next season, they should stop their wishful thinking and take a look in their backyard, because UNO Wrestling is quickly pursuing a third title in 3 years. Reporting for the Omaha News, I'm Garrett Geist.
The Mavs have raced out to an 8-0 start this season and will defend their national title March 10th and 11th in Findlay, Ohio. But before then, you can head out to the Sapp Fieldhouse and support their team in the next home match, February 10th at 7 o'clock.
And while the wrestling team has succeeded on the mats this season, the hockey team has excelled on the ice. The latest hockey poll has the Mavericks ranked number 18 in the country after their recent 3-0-2 stretch. During that span, the Mavs accomplished something no other UNO hockey team has done: win a game at Carlson Arena in Fairbanks, Alaska. This past weekend, the Mavs finished with a win and tie against Lake Superior State. UNO has a tough road ahead of them before the CCHA playoffs and 3 Michigan teams on the schedule, including their last regular season home series against rival Michigan on February 17th and 18th at the Civic Auditorium.
When Don Klosterman took the helms of the UNO women's soccer team 7 years ago, he couldn't have imagined the success his program would achieve. 5 NCC championship bids later, including 4 straight trips to the Final Four and 1 national championship, and that dream has become a reality. Randy Hopkins reports how this season was a kick above the rest.
The UNO women's soccer team brought home the gold this past season after placing 2nd in 2002 and 3rd in 2003 and 2004. Head coach Don Klosterman received the National Division II Coach of the Year award in January. He speaks about his award and the reason for his team's success.
It's a big deal, and I think it's just nice to be part of that organization and, what have you. So the real thing that happens is that all the Division II coaches are allowed to vote for a National Coach of the Year. First it's Regional or Coach of the Year, and then it goes National Coach of the Year. So it's a big honor, and as I really believe that there were probably several other coaches, I think, that should have, and they were considered, but I think just as deserving. I think I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be in a program at a school like this where they help us, where the administration supports us, where we have a community that supports us, where people want to come and play here, good girls, good players.
We finally got the recognition, and he got all the recognition that he deserved for only being in this program for, I think, 6 years and took the team to the national championship. It's amazing, and he deserves every bit of it.
The Mavericks open their season up next year with a home game against South Baptist University, August 25th. With your Omaha News, I'm Randy Hopkins.
UNO will make a strong case for a repeat next season as they lose only 4 seniors from this year's national championship team. Leading scorer Beth McGill is among the returning players.
Coming up next, Jessica Harris sits down with a UNO professor taking her focus on Black studies from the books to the streets.
And later in the newscast, we'll look at a recent study involving cardiovascular disease. That's next on the Omaha News.
If your days get out of control, reset your attitude by setting your radio to KVNO, Classical 90.7. Discover your own personal oasis of serenity on KVNO Classical 90.7.
Our look may have changed over the years, but our mission has remained the same, providing our students with a way to achieve their dreams. Through their education at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, students have the opportunity to connect, collaborate, and create. For more information, visit the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
You're watching a channel of the Knowledge Network of Greater Omaha. To help make the most of your viewing, you can also visit us on the internet at www.tknomaha.org. You'll find detailed program schedules of Knowledge Network programming, including on-air classes, documentaries, and how-to programs. At www.tknomaha.org, you'll also find more information about our original featured programs. We believe TV should be entertaining and educational. So point, click, and learn more about the Knowledge Network. See where to find the Knowledge Network on your cable system. Learn more about who the supporting members are and why the Knowledge Network of Greater Omaha is committed to educational programs for all learners. Online and on the air, the Knowledge Network stands for Smart TV. Remember, you can visit the Knowledge Network homepage at www.tknomaha.org. The Knowledge Network. It's TV for your brain.
Jones has been a visiting assistant professor in the Black Studies Department at UNO since last June. With a creative background and teaching experience in the visual arts, Jones has been involved in a variety of group exhibitions and community projects in the Omaha area. Here to tell us more about Black History Month and the festivities going on at the UNO campus is Professor Peggy Jones. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for asking me.
And how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
That's good. So you started teaching at UNO in June 2005. Why did you choose to come to the UNO campus?
Well, basically, I came to the Black Studies Department because I had previously done residencies with young kids, visual poetry of the Harlem Renaissance, and I was just kind of interested in guest lecturing, and then they offered me a job, so I snapped it up.
That's good. We're glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Thanks. Where else have you taught at besides UNO?
Oh, I actually taught at UNO about 4 years ago part-time. I've taught at Metro Community College. I've done a lot of residencies at local elementary and middle schools, and both in Omaha and outstate.
Mm-hmm. Where else besides Omaha have you?
Like York, Stewart, Nebraska, Bruning, Davenport.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Peru State, Nebraska for a little while. And then I've done some residencies like outstate, like in Chicago, down in Mississippi, just kind of around. I get around.
Yeah. So you have degrees in both design and painting and drawing. Why did you choose then to go to the Black Studies Department?
While I was in Lincoln in graduate school getting my Master of Fine Arts degree, I started researching African American artists since I am an African American artist, surprise. And so I decided that it was an area that I wanted to do more research into. And so in the intervening years after graduate school and before coming here to UNO right now, I did a lot of research for my residency and just for my own personal edification, and it seemed like it ended up being a really good fit for the Black Studies Department.
Right. So you are the co-coordinator of some of the festivities going on here at UNO, particularly the Malcolm X Festival.
Yes.
Could you kind of explain what the Malcolm X Festival exactly is?
Well, it's in its 5th year. It's the 5th annual Malcolm X Festival. This every year has a different theme. The first year, the inaugural year, it was Malcolm X. This 5th year, it's the Black woman, past, present, and future. And we've been really lucky to get a lot of great presenters. The first day, we're going to have Sonia Sanchez. That's Wednesday, February 15th, along with a dancer from the Urban Bushwomen Dance Company out of New York City, Amara Tabor-Smith. We've got scholars coming, Rosalind Terborg Penn, who wrote an encyclopedia about Black women in America. She's a co-editor. 2 scholars, again, from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Jennifer Neville and Helen Neville and Jennifer Hamer, excuse me. And then we also have some local UNO scholars. They're going to be presenting about Black women artists, Black women's literature, and we're going to be doing a dance class. We just got a lot of activities. Plus, Tuesday, Valentine's Day, we're going to have a reception. The University Library is hosting a reception for Sonia Sanchez at the Loves Jazz and Arts Center at 24th and Lake. That's open to the public at 7 o'clock. Everyone's welcome.
Can you kind of explain who Sonia Sanchez is?
She's a world-renowned playwright and poet. She began writing probably in the 60s, and she wrote one way but until she heard the writing or heard the words of Malcolm X, and then she actually changed her whole aesthetic vision. So it was a very good connection. We actually got that connection with Sonia Sanchez through our former chair, Robert Chrisman.
Oh, yeah. When exactly is the festival?
It's Wednesday, February 15th, Thursday, February 16th. All the activities, except the reception on Tuesday, all the activities are in the Milo Bale Student Center here on campus.
Okay.
Free and open to the public.
Okay, and so do you know what time exactly the Sonia Sanchez?
Her session will begin at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and then she'll be going from 10 to 11. 10 to 10:50. We align it with the student schedule, so students who have classes to get to can kind of come and go with little disruption. And then she'll be continuing into the 11 to 11:50 hour, and then she'll be having lunch. And then unfortunately she'll be taking off. So we have her for exactly 24 hours actually.
All right, and so you did say this year, every year it is titled the Malcolm X Festival. Could you kind of explain for those who don't know who he is, who Malcolm X exactly is?
Well, Malcolm X was born here in Omaha, Nebraska. He was born May 19th, 1925. He's a civil rights leader who took a different route than, say, Martin Luther King Jr., in that he advocated black nationalism, that black people should essentially kind of look after themselves and help themselves, lift themselves up. He was very much a Pan-Africanist. He looked to joining black people of African descent together to kind of unify for both social justice and economic advancement.
All right. Let's say if someone would need to get a hold of you or find out some more about the festivities or, when exactly everything's going on, what's the best number or way to get a hold?
The best way would be to call 554-2412, and then they could get a hold of us in the Black Studies Department. They could speak with Felicia Daly or myself, and we've got posters up, we've got information, trying to get it all around the community and in the campus area. But that would be the best way, would be to call the Black Studies Department.
Okay, and what's the direct way to get a hold of you?
My direct line is 554-2996, and I have voicemail, and if you're on campus, you can email me through the system. I don't want to give the whole long email address, it's a little bit weird, but that's a good way to get a hold of me.
And are you on campus? Are you a full-time professor then, or part-time?
I am full-time. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and coming, meeting with us,
You're welcome.
We'll definitely look forward to the festivals this year.
Thank you very much for having me.
Coming up next, learn what a new study found about lowering your risk for cardiovascular disease. That's next on the Omaha News.
UNO Television, based on the University of Nebraska at Omaha campus, provides production and educational services both locally and nationally. UNO Television has been offering students hands-on broadcast opportunities for over 40 years. Every UNO Television production features students working side by side with broadcast professionals in a variety of settings. UNO Television is proud of its role in helping students develop their skills toward broadcasting careers.
I was 11 years old. I used to see these kids puffing weed. Well, take a hit. Took my first hit and I was like this. The teacher future would be like.
If you smoke marijuana, you will be more likely to do other drugs.
Whatever. They say marijuana's a gateway drug, yo. It opened up the floodgates.
When I was bored, I took a hit.
Nothing mattered after a while.
I was heartbroken. I took a hit. I was frustrated. I took a hit.
I started smoking crack, shooting dope.
I had guns in my mouth, got stabbed.
That first hit, yo, started all off. I feel fortunate, yo, that I'm alive. That's a real deal.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of men and women in all racial and ethnic groups, and a recent study found that the best way to reduce the risk of this disease is to stop smoking and, first and foremost, exercise. The study was published in the journal Circulation and found that 52% of men and 39% of women would develop the disease in their lifetime. But by taking steps to prevent the disease, the numbers dropped dramatically to 5.2% in men and 4.5% in women who develop the disease. To find out more about cardiovascular disease, check out the American Heart Association website at americanheart.org. Abuse and neglect can scar a child for life, but there are support systems in place that nurture these children and give them protection they deserve.
And it's time to get your pets licensed and registered. We'll have an interview with the Humane Society representative to tell you all the steps that need to be taken. We'll have those stories and much more for you next week on the Omaha News. For everyone at Omaha News, thanks for joining us.